Jack Goodman. And batting ninth in center field, number 21, Connor Bradshaw. The starting pitcher for the Waves today is number 28, Jack Baird. And now from head coach Jeff Loomis for the home team, your Portland Pilots. Leading off in center field, number 4, Jake Holcroft. Batting second, the designated hitter, number 7, Jake Zucata. Batting third at first base, number 28, Zach Tolia. Batting fourth in left field, number 14, Riley Knight. Batting fifth in catching, number 13, Nick Klepp. Batting sixth at shortstop, number 11, Ben Pataxel. Batting seventh in right field, number 23, Christian Cooney. Batting eighth at third base, number 2, Evan Scavato. And batting ninth at second base, number 6, Spencer Scott. The starting pitcher for the Pilots today is number 21, Peter Allegro.
Bring 'em out, bring 'em out, bring 'em out. It's hard to yell when the barrel's in your mouth. Bring 'em out, bring 'em out. Bring 'em out, bring 'em out. Bring 'em out, bring 'em out. Bring 'em out, bring 'em out.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise if you are able and remove your caps for the playing of our national anthem.
Well, overcast skies hover over Portland, Oregon today as we welcome you to the Bluff for our West Coast Conference Series finale between the Pepperdine Waves and the Portland Pilots. We welcome you inside Joe Edsel Field. I'm Brian Slack, and I'll have your call for the series finale today. Portland has taken the first two games 5-4 and 8-6 yesterday and look for the sweep to open up conference play. Pepperdine, on the other hand, made a late rally with 4 runs in the 9th inning yesterday and will look to carry that momentum into today and take at least one game before heading back to Malibu after this weekend. On the mound for Portland, it's the preseason All-American selection Peter Allegro of Tacoma, Washington. Allegro will be making his 6th appearance, 4th start on the year. Has a 1-2 record, a 7.16 ERA through 16 1/3 innings of work. He surrendered 20 hits, 13 earned runs, 18 strikeouts to just 6 walks, so a 3-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio, and opponents are hitting .294 against him. The lineup for the Pepperdine Waves today: Grant Shane gets the start out in right field. He'll be batting first. John Peck is the shortstop, batting second. Ryan Johnson gets his 2nd consecutive start behind the dish. He'll be batting third. Lincoln Oriana moves up in the lineup. He's now batting 4th over at first base. Devin Walzakowski gets his first start as the designated hitter. He'll be batting 5th. Greg Melhoff, the third baseman, bats 6th. Charles Messino is out in left field today. He's been in right field the last couple of days. He'll be batting 7th. Jack Goodman gets the start at 2nd. And then Connor Bradshaw, the center fielder, will be batting 9th for the Pepperdine Waves today. Grant Shane, the right fielder, senior from Clackamas, Oregon, steps into the box. First pitch from Allegro misses low and away. He'll start him out with the ball. Shane yesterday went 1 for 3 with 2 walks and an RBI single in the 9th inning, part of that 4-run 9th that made things pretty tight here on the Bluff. Fly ball hit into center field. Holcroft watching it through the clouds. Now he takes a couple steps in and he makes the catch. And there's 1 out away to start off this first inning. John Peck comes to the plate now. Peck, a junior from Moore Park, California. He was the preseason selection to be the WCC Player of the Year. He's actually the #1 draft prospect in the conference this season. The first pitch from Allegro, slider for a strike away, 0-1. Actually looked more like a curveball there, excuse me. The 0-1 to Peck. Inside for strike 2. A fastball from Allegro gets him. Defensively for Portland today, your outfield looks mainly the same, one little difference. It's Knight in left, Holcroft in center, then Christian Cooney today gets the start in right field. Scavato is your third baseman, Pataxo at short. Spencer Scott moves over to second base today as Peck takes the ball inside, moving his hips out of the way of that one, 1-2. Zach Tolia is over at first, and then Nick Klemp taking his normal spot behind the plate for Portland today. Peck will go down with a strikeout. And the tough weekend continues. He's now 1 for 11 on the weekend against the Pilots as Ryan Johnson comes to the plate. Take another look at that last pitch from Allegro. Just went away from him and Peck chased. First strikeout for Allegro, 19 now on the season. As Ryan Johnson, the catcher for the Waves today, steps to the box. Senior from Tempe, Arizona, is batting .426 coming into this weekend. He had 20 hits, 7 home runs, 16 RBI. Now he's got 18 now on the season as he's 2 for 7 in this series. Allegro starts him out with a ball. Now he fouls this off of Klemp. He seems to be okay as the home plate umpire checks in on him. That'll even the count at 1-1. Johnson yesterday struggled out of the gate. He started out 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts, then a flyout in the 8th. Finally did reach base with a single in the 9th as the Waves tried to mount their own rally. The 1-1. Johnson swings and misses, 1-2. Allegro looking for his second strikeout, trying to go 1-2-3 in this inning. Johnson gets it off the end of the bat, just enough to stay alive. Two outs, defense playing back with the 1-2 count on Johnson. Check swing, he fouls it off. No, they're actually saying it bounced and it went away from Klemp. Check swing. They peeled down to first. They're saying he did not go around. It'll be 2-2 after the ball. Allegro standing at 5'9". Had the opportunity to get to know him over the last 3-4 years. As Corey and I saw him in Ridgefield. The 2-2. Strike 3 on Johnson. Beautifully placed by Allegro, and he goes 1-2-3 in the first with a pair of strikeouts. We head to the bottom of the first. Jake Holcroft leads us off, followed by Jake Sukata and Zach Tolia when we return on the WCC Network.
Internet audio, video streaming, game schedules, and more. Visit PortlandPilots.com and follow @PortlandPilots on all social media platforms. carry for the Waves. Behind the plate is number 15, Ryan Johnson. The starting pitcher is...
Welcome back to Joe Edsel Field. On the mound today is Jack Baird as he makes his 7th appearance on the season, has a 1-0 record with a 3.48 ERA. Through 10 and a third innings of work, he's allowed 10 hits, 4 earned runs, 10 strikeouts to 6 walks. Opponents are hitting .244 against him. But Baird did actually pitch earlier in this series. He pitched on Friday night. In the 9th inning, he actually took the loss as he gave up the 1 run. Excuse me, he pitched in the 8th inning, I should say. Gave up the 1 run, in which actually Holcroft, who's up at the plate to lead things off for the Pilots, had the RBI single that drove in the game-winning run. Here he starts off with a ball. It's 1-0. Ground ball hit over to the right side. It's going to be taken in by Jack Goodman and thrown over to first. Holcroft is retired. Hasn't happened often in this series, as Holcroft is hitting .700 right now. He's 7 for 10 in this series after that ground out. Jake Sukata coming to the plate now. Sukata, the junior from Honolulu, Hawaii, comes in batting .333 on the season. He's got 19 hits, 10 RBI. First pitch here in the dirt. He takes ball 1. It'll start out 1-0. The lineup for the Pilots, you just saw Holcroft, Sukata here batting second. Talia will be batting third at first base. Briley Knight bats cleanup. Klump will be batting fifth, followed by Pataxel. Then Christian Cooney bats seventh with his first start of this series. Chopper back up the middle. Goodman ranging to his right, can't make the play, and it ends up in center field. And so a 1-out single for Jake Sukata gets his 3rd hit of this series. And that'll bring up Zach Talia. But as I was saying, Cooney batting 7th, getting his first start in this series out in right field. Scavato bats 8th, and then Spencer Scott will be batting 9th at 2nd. On the replay, Goodman seemed like he had a good beat on it, running over from his position at 2nd, but the ball just evading his glove and ending up in center field. So Sukata takes his lead off at first as Zach Talia steps to the batter's box. Talia first swing, sends it foul to go off the fence of the bullpen for Portland. He'll start out 0-1. Talia, 6'3" sophomore from Gig Harbor, Washington. Transfer from the University of Utah, the second U to come to the University of Portland in the last few seasons, the other one being Briley Knight. Throw to Talia, fouls off to our right, quickly behind 0-2. Talia coming into the series was batting .370 as he plays in his 11th game. 3 for 8 in this series already with an RBI. That RBI came via the sac fly. Breaking ball just out of the zone. Close call. The umpire calls it a ball. It'll be 1-2. Sukata with a decent lead off the bag at first. He's going for second. Johnson couldn't get a grip on the ball. It'll be strike 3 called on Talia. Stolen base for Sukata, and it looked like initially as Talia goes down with a strikeout, Johnson wanted to throw that ball but couldn't get a clean handle of it out of his glove. But now the Pilots have a runner in scoring position in Sukata at second, and that'll bring up Briley Knight. Knight, the senior from Corvallis, Oregon, that other transfer from the University of Utah. Takes first pitch low out of the zone to start him out 1-0. Knight yesterday went 0 for 3 with a walk. On the season, he was hitting .323 into this series with 20 hits and 15 RBI. Gets jammed inside, a little dribbler in front of the mound. It's going to be taken in by Baird. The throw over to first is in time. They got Briley Knight. He thought he was safe, and it was bang, bang over there. But the Pilots strand a runner on. No runs come in to score. This will remain 0-0 as we take another replay, or look at the replay. Awfully close over there at first. Either way, we're going to take a break. We'll come back for the second inning. Oriana, Walzakowski, and Melhoff come to the plate for the Waves when we return.
the second inning for the Waves. The first baseman, number 55, Lincoln Oriana.
Welcome back to Joe Edsel Field as Lincoln Oriana comes to the plate for his first time today. Oriana has moved up in the lineup as Peter Allegro starts him out with a strike. Oriana started out in the 8-hole in game 1, then he moved up to the 7th spot in yesterday's game, and after a solo home run, gave Pepperdine another run yesterday as strike 2 called on a backdoor breaking ball from Allegro. Oriana now batting 4th, and he's been red hot, 4 for 8 in this series, 3 runs and that lone RBI. The junior from Apple Valley, California, goes down on strikes as Klemp gets in front of home and throws it over to first. The third strikeout for Peter Allegro in this one, and the first out retired in the second inning as Devin Walzakowski comes to the plate next. First pitch from Allegro blows by Walzakowski for a strike. Walzakowski, a sophomore from El Dorado Hills, California, went to Jesuit High School. On the season, the sophomore's batting 174. Hits a high fly ball out into left center field. Ball has been carrying today. Knight and Holcroft on the warning track, and Holcroft can't make a jumping catch. It bounces off the wall. Walzakowski will end up at third for a triple. Unfortunate break. The ball today is carrying. Watching batting practice done by Pepperdine and Portland early this morning, the ball is carrying out into left center field, even though there's not much wind inside the stadium. But Walzakowski right there just barely got underneath one. Either way, he ends up at third after the one-out triple. That's Greg Melhoff, the third baseman, comes to the plate. Melhoff, a grad student from Gresham, Oregon, went to Clackamas High School. So he's back home in his home state, trying to put on a good showing. Yesterday, though, not his best outing. He went 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. In this series, he's 1 for 9. The 0-1. Allegro misses low and away. That'll even the count at 1-1. Walzakowski and Scavato sharing a couple of words over at third. Smiles over there. Melhoff, slightly open stance. Stays put in the batter's box as that one slips away from Klemp. It'll be ball 2, 2-1. Ground ball hit to the right side. Tulia will look back. Walzakowski step on the bag at first. Terrific play right there by the first baseman to eye back the runner at third, keep him at bay. And Melhoff is retired. 3 unassisted in the scorebook, and that'll bring up Charles Messino, the left fielder today. Messino wearing 32. Junior from Newbury Park, California. Went to Oaks Christian High School. Good pitch from Allegro, but called a ball by the umpire. 1-0. Two very similar looking uniforms today on both sides. Pepperdine is wearing their navy uniforms with Pepperdine across the chest with their gray pants and a navy soutache down the side. Strike called. That'll make it 1-1. Portland wearing their black uniforms. Portland in purple across the chest with numbers in purple on the left lower oblique with the pinstripe pants and black socks. The 1-1 from Allegro in the right-handed batter's box. And that puts Messino ahead, 2-1 in the count. Messino's hitting .225 on the season, 200 with runners in scoring position. Spencer Scott, the second baseman, in shallow right field. Now Allegro missing low, and that puts Messino in the driver's seat with a 3-1 count. have to think a little bit differently now. You have 2 outs. Don't have to focus so much on the runner at third. I like what Allegro is doing, though, keeping the ball low, trying to induce a ground ball. The 3-1. Messino, strike 2, and it's now a full count with 2 outs. You get that ground ball, you can throw it over to first to get that out. No run scores, and it still remains a 0-0 ball game, and that 1-out triple really doesn't hurt you. Let's see how Allegro responds on the full count. 3-2, Messino, check swing, and a strikeout. 4 Ks early on for Peter Allegro on the mound. The Waves strand the runner over at third. As we head to the bottom of the second, he freezes Messino. It's Klemp, Pataxel, and Cooney all coming to the plate next for the Pilots on the WCC Network.
Portland North Marriott, Les Schwab Tires, and Northwest Navigator. A reminder, fans, be alert for balls leaving the field of play at any moment. Leading off the second inning for the Pilots, the catcher, number 13, Nick Klemp.
We welcome you back to Joe Edsel Field, bottom of the second inning, as Jack Baird out on the mound for another inning of work. First pitch to Nick Klemp. Cuts away from him for a strike. It'll be 0-1. Klemp, the grad student from Everett, Washington, found his way to Portland after going to Everett Community College. As he takes the balls, that one was spiked. It's now 1-1. Klemp entered this series hitting .422. Gets a ground ball hit over towards short. Peck will get it on an up hop, and Klemp will be retired for the first out here in the second inning. 6-3 in the scorebook as Ben Pataxel comes to the plate. Pataxel, a junior from Renton, Washington, from O'Day High School. Came into this series hitting .200, but he's lifted that up quite a bit. He's 4 for 9 now, with a couple of RBI. Just against Pepperdine this weekend, he takes a first pitch ball, 1-0. He had 6 hits coming into this weekend. He already has 4. The 1-0 from Baird. Pataxel doesn't chase as it ends up in the left-handed batter's box, 2-0. Ground ball over to third. Pataxel running hard down 90. Doesn't matter, though. It's Melhoff who throws him out. 2 away. As Christian Cooney comes to the plate. Cooney has not played much over the last few games as he got hit in the helmet area in the series opener against Niagara. Here's the first pitch to him. Curveball that drops away from the bat. 0-1 to start off this at-bat. But as I was saying, he got hit in the helmet and then he was relieved of his duties by Henry Mensch in game 1 of that series. Now he did come back as a pinch hitter in Game 4 of that series on Tuesday of last week. Then he pinch hit in Game 1 of this series, and it was a big hit too because he ended up on second, and that allowed Jake Holcroft to hit him in as the game-winning run, 5-4 on Friday. As Cooney lays off the high pitch right there, makes it 1-2. Cooney fouls it off of himself, so it's a dead ball. We'll go back to the 1-2 count. Cooney from Portland, Oregon. Went to Central Catholic High School. He's batting .265 on the season with 9 hits. In the dirt, that'll even the count at 2-2. Cooney considered a draft prospect in the upcoming draft. He's considered the 30th best prospect in the West Coast Conference out in the outfield. Here's a ground ball hit over to third. Hugging that line is Melhoff. He takes it in and across the diamond in time. It's 1-2-3 for the Portland Pilots at the plate as we head to the third inning. It's the bottom of the order. Jack Goodman, Connor Bradshaw, and then back to the top to Grant Shane when we return on the other side.
Leading off the third inning for the Waves, the second baseman, number 1, Jack Goodman.
Welcome back to Joe Edsel Field, top of the third inning as Jack Goodman steps into the batter's box for his second plate appearance in this series. First one today. Came in as a pinch hitter a couple of days ago. Here he puts a hard drive into left center field. Holcroft at the warning track makes the catch on the run as he goes behind Briley Knight to make that catch, and Goodman is retired on the first pitch that he sees, one away in the third inning.
The center fielder, number 21, Connor Bradshaw.
Connor Bradshaw comes to the plate wearing number 21. Bradshaw Jr. from New Rochelle, New York. And the defense moving over. Holcroft now sets up on the right side at second base. So Allegro delivers a slider. First pitch, first strike. Bell tie, far side of the plate, 0-1. Bradshaw yesterday was 1 for 3 with a double and a walk. So Allegro missing there on the off speed. Evens the count at 1-1. Bradshaw's only hit in this series came in the 7th inning, in which he got stranded after having a 1-out double. Otherwise, he's 1 for 7 against the Pilots this weekend with a walk. And he'll reach after he gets hit by a pitch. So the third time he's reached base this weekend, and now we bring up Grant Shane. Shane this weekend is 4 for 7, make it 4 for 8 after going 0 for 1 already in this game with a fly out to Jake Holcroft to start this game out. 2 walks this weekend along with 2 runs and 1 RBI. So he bats .286 on the year. Allegro missing away from the left-handed bat makes it 1-0. Throw over to first, the runner's back safely. 1-0. Breaking ball that drops in there near the knees for a strike. Evens the count at 1-1. Allegro peeks over shoulder, now comes home. Off the end of the bat, Allegro barehands it off the mound and delivers a throw over to Talia. And they get the out at first for the second one of this inning. Shane retired, Bradshaw moves up to second, and that'll bring up John Peck. Athletic play right there by Allegro, and no doubt he mirrors himself after his favorite player in Marcus Stroman. Allegro standing at 5'9", Stroman at 5'8". Both good athletes that play off the mound, have a bulldog mentality. In fact, Allegro has embraced the saying for Marcus Stroman's clothing apparel: height don't measure heart. HDMH. Basically saying that don't write me off just because of how I look right now. They're battle tested. Not afraid of a challenge. That's exactly what Allegro is doing today against Pepperdine. He's trying to get the sweep against the Waves. It would be the first time the Pilots have done that since 2010. And they're going to call balk on Allegro. I missed exactly what happened right there. He didn't step off the rubber. So now the runner moves over to third after the balk. Bradshaw 90 feet away from scoring, as Peck is 0 for 1 today, as he takes a strike right there to make the count 1-1, excuse me. Peck just 1 for 11 in this series, but he does have 2 RBI. No chase on that one. That goes away from him in the left-handed batter's box. 2-1. Check swing, called strike 2 anyways, and Peck a bit frustrated with himself. Now with an even count of 2-2. Scott playing close to the bag at second. Talia off the line at first. The 2-2 to Peck. High and inside above the letters makes it a full count now, 3-2. Allegro with 4 strikeouts, already looking for his 5th. Fouled back by Peck. At the top of the netting behind home plate will reset on the full count, 3-2. Strikeout on Peck, and that strands the runner over at third. The second time Allegro has done that today, as he picks up strikeout number 5 on the afternoon. Another look at it. Missing the barrel of Peck, we head to the bottom of the third. It's the bottom of the lineup for the Pilots. Scavato, Scott, and then Holcroft when we return on the WCC Network. Welcome back to Joe Edsel Field. Brian Slyke on the call for your series finale between the Pepperdine Waves and the Portland Pilots. Currently a 0-0 ball game, as Jack Baird back out for another inning of work. Starts out Evan Scavato with a ball, 1-0. Scavato, a junior from Puyallup, Washington, went to Puyallup High School. On the season, he's batting .261. Came into the series with 12 hits. He's 0 for 2. He did not play in yesterday's game. Takes a strike there. First one of this at-bat, 2-1. Scavato chasing what looked to be a curveball right there as it drops out of the zone, 2-2. Yesterday, the Pilots struck out 11 times as Scavato gets a ground ball up the middle. And a leadoff single for the Pilots. First man is aboard in this inning, only the second one in the game, as Spencer Scott will now come to the plate. And Scavato got an outside pitch, what looked to be about belt high, maybe a little higher than that, and sends it right back where it came from, up the middle. And now he stands over at first as Spencer Scott steps to the plate. Scott, a sophomore from Portland, Oregon, went to Grant High School. He's hitting .268 this year. 7 hits and 41 at-bats. He has driven in 8 runs. Here he takes a first pitch ball, 1-0. Missing high. It's now 2-0 on Scott. Baird is a grad student from Parker, Colorado. Last season, he made the most appearances out of any Wave with 20 on the year. So mainly works out of the pen. This time, though, he comes out with the start in today's game. The 2-0 and ripped into the glove of Melhoff and thrown over to first to double off the Pilots. Greg Melhoff flashing the leather on the hot corner. Takes the line drive, base hit away from Spencer Scott, and he doubles up the Pilots, and there's 2 away for Jake Holcroft. So now there's 2 away, nobody on base. And that brings up Jake Holcroft, who's 0 for 1 today. The junior from Upland, California, takes ball 1 in his second at-bat. Grounded out to second to Jack Goodman. The first time up. In the series, though, nobody's been hotter. He hits a ground ball over to first. Oriana fields it, and Baird was not on the bag. Holcroft is safe. Another close play, but Holcroft running that hard 90 made it difficult for Oriana and Baird, who was struggling to get over to first base on the correct angle. Looks like he just missed it, as we'll get a chance here to look at the replay and see how that one ended up. But Holcroft now over at first as Sukata steps to the plate. And it looked like he just stepped on the turf next to the bag instead of on the bag, and that's how Holcroft ended up in there. They're going to count that one as a hit. So an infield single for Holcroft, his 8th hit of this series after he had 4 yesterday. Throw over to first. Holcroft back safely, head first. 2 different Pilots had 4 hits yesterday. It was Holcroft, and then it was also Nick Klemp. As Klemp picked up his 3rd 4-hit game this season, Holcroft got his first. First pitch to Sukata, and this at-bat is a strike. They'll start out 0-1. Sukata in this series coming into today was 2 for 10. But he's already singled in the first, and he had a stolen base as well. Ground ball hit over to Oriana at first, and he'll step on the bag. Oriana, big defensive presence here in the 3rd inning against the Pilots. They strand one, no runs come in to score. It remains scoreless as we head to the fourth. Middle of the order for the Waves. Johnson, Oriana, and Walzakowski due up when we return.
Leading up the fourth inning for the Waves, that catcher, number 15, Ryan Johnson.
Welcome back to the fourth inning of work here at Joe Etzel Field, a 0-0 ball game as Peter Allegro is back on the mound. 5 strikeouts so far through the first 3 innings as he faces Ryan Johnson for the second time today. Johnson 0 for 1 with a strikeout, squares to bunt, puts it down in front of the mound, backhanded by Allegro, and fires a missile over to first. Johnson, who tried to sneak a bunt down, is thrown out for the quick out, and that'll bring up Lincoln Oriana.
Number 55, Lincoln Oriana.
Oriana started his college career at the University of Hawaii, but did not play in any games in his lone season there. Spent the last 2 years at American River College before finding his home in Malibu. Starts out with a ball, 1-0. Overcast skies here in Portland, a little bit different than what we had yesterday as Allegro delivers an evening strike, 1-1. We were spoiled yesterday, probably the nicest weather we've had all season here on the Bluff, as this one put into the dirt. It'll become 2-1. Yesterday we were dealing with sunny skies, partly cloudy, 65-degree weather. Today, though, overcast, 57, with some rain that is supposed to be coming in soon enough. Breaking ball looked awfully good from behind home plate, but no call, makes it 3-1. In fact, just got an update that we should be getting a drizzle in the next 15 to 20 minutes. Part of the reason why this game time was moved up a full hour. We were originally supposed to start at 1 p.m. Instead, with the rain that's supposed to come in and hit Portland today, they moved it up to noon to at least try to get 5 innings worth to get a complete game. 3-2, ground ball over to Talia, bounces off of his chest, flips it over to Allegro, covering the bag. And there's 2 away.
Designated hitter, number 34,
Devin Walzakowski steps to the plate. He tripled his last time up. As you take another look at that chopper, difficult play for Talia. It went into his chest, but he stayed with it. Walzakowski only picked up his 5th hit, and he now has a double, triple, and a home run on the season as he can't catch up to the heat from Allegro, 0-1. Now hitting 208 on the season, 0-2 now after again swinging and missing on that pitch. Lays off the inside pitch there. Walzakowski last season started 27 games as a freshman as he hit .242 with 24 hits. Comes from a baseball background. His father, Eric, played baseball at Fresno State. as Walzakowski goes down with a strikeout. The 6-1 for Peter Allegro today, and we're only in the 4th inning. As we head to the bottom of the 4th, it'll be Talia, Knight, and Klemp. Another look at the K away from Walzakowski. We'll be right back on the WCC Network. We welcome you back to Joe Etzel Field for the bottom of the 4th inning, as Zach Talia set to lead things off for the Pilots. In this inning, struck out looking and is only at bat today. Talia came into today batting 3 for 8 in the series. Gets fooled on the off speed there to fall behind 0-1. Second baseman Goodman in shallow right field as Talia again empty on that swing. Talia puts a drive into one down the right field line. Heading towards that way is Shane, and he will make the catch in front of his own bullpen. Difficult play for a visiting outfielder to make, but he ranges all the way into foul territory to make the catch and the out. And there's one away for Portland in the 4th. That brings up Briley Knight. Knight got jammed inside in his first at-bat. Ended up in a dribbler out in front of the mound that was taken by Baird. Here he starts out with a ball 1-0. In this series, though, Knight is now 2 for 9. And this is a guy who started out the season with 11 straight games with a hit. The 1-0. Johnson unable to backhand it, makes it 2-0. Jammed inside again, a dribbler just to the left of the mound. Baird will flip it over to first, and there's 2 away. Just like that, and that'll send up Nick Klemp, who's 0 for 1. He grounded out to short in his only at-bat today. Klemp will start out with a strike, 0-1. Klemp empty on that swing, now falls behind 1-2 in the count. Pilots have been unable to get anything going. They had a single in the first. Sukata was left stranded at second, then a single in the third, but was doubled up as Klemp lays off the low pitch there to make it a 2-2 count. Spencer Scott ripped a ball down the line at third, but it was caught by Melhoff and then delivered over to first to double up Scavato. Holcroft then singled, but the inning ended quickly after that. Here's the 2-2. Clem fouls it off to our right. We'll go back to the 2-2. This one put into the air, into left field. Massino is getting underneath it. He'll make the catch as the rain falling down now here at Joe Etzel Field, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for the Pilots as we will head to the 5th inning. Coming to the plate, Melhoff, Massino, and Goodman for the Waves on the other side. Welcome back to Joe Etzel Field, top of the 5th inning. As Allegro back out on the mound. Having a pretty good day so far. He's got 6 strikeouts. His career high is 8 as he goes up against Greg Melhoff for the 2nd time today. Melhoff grounded out to Zach Talia over at first in his only at-bat of the day. Tough series for Melhoff. He came in hitting .225. He had 9 hits. As this one gets away from Allegro inside, that'll be a wild pitch. So 1-0 start off Melhoff. But as I was saying, Melhoff now just 1 for 10 in this series. His 1 hit came back in game 1, and in his very first at-bat, it was a single in the first inning of game 1. Here he takes a strike. It's 1-1. Spencer Scott, the second baseman, is playing in shallow right field with the left-handed pull bat up. Chopper down the first base line. It's going to go foul. Talia will touch it, and that'll end that one for strike 1 and 2. Melhoff steps back in with the 1-2. Allegro looking for his 7th strikeout on the day. Can't get it there as he puts this one into the dirt. It's blocked by Klemp. Make it a 2-2 count. Well, the LA Dodgers did what I think is a stand-up, classy move over this past week as they renewed the contract of Andrew Toles. Allegro missing on a fastball away, about belt high. Now full count, 3-2. Now, if you're not familiar with the story of Andrew Toles, it's a sad one as a once prominent part of a team that was destined to win the World Series with the Dodgers. The 3-2, no chase, and that'll be ball 4 to Melhoff. Leadoff man is aboard here in the 5th. And that sends up Charles Massino. But Toles was a part of that 2016 Dodgers team that made me awfully nervous as a Cubs fan in the NLCS, as he was an outfielder and had some speed, was on the base path late in games trying to get those insurance runs. Now, he hasn't played for the Dodgers since 2018. It's a runner going for second. Ground ball chopped over to first. Talia touches it in foul territory, so Messino goes back to the box. Melhoff goes back to first, and it's 0-1. Now, he hadn't played with the team since 2018, but he still remained on the team amid going through personal struggles. And in 2020, he was actually arrested because he was found asleep behind a FedEx at the Key West International Airport, in which he was told to move along a couple of times. He was given some warnings as a throw over to first, the runner back safely. But eventually it led to his arrest as a misdemeanor. The arrest was attributed to Toles' battle with mental health issues. And the reason why I think this is such great news by the Dodgers to renew his contract is, well, it allows him to ensure that the 30-year-old has access to health care services and financial support during this time, as a lot of the members in the front office for the Dodgers, the 0-1 to Messino, missing high and away, makes it 1-1. Still consider Toles a big part of that organization and consider him family, and they're standing by their man even while he's dealing with his own struggles going on 5 years now. The 1-1. Strike two on Messino. He falls behind 1-2. And honestly, it's something you'd like to see more of out of professional franchises. With the amount of professional athletes now that have come forward about these struggles with their mental health and having to deal with stresses and the anxiety of performance. So Allegro throws back over to first. We'll reset with the 1-2 on Messino. But it's not often you see a franchise take an interest and stay with it. Here's the 1-2 inside, and that one actually catches Messino in the ankle. And so two batters aboard now for Allegro as he's starting to deal with some pressure here in the fifth. And that'll bring up Jack Goodman, the second baseman, who's 0 for 1 today with a fly out to Holcroft in center. Going back to that conversation, you think about even in the NFL and how guys are dealing with physical issues and mental issues. Thinking about Vincent Jackson just a couple of years ago, former Buccaneers wide receiver and Chargers wide receiver. In which case, once they leave their profession, a lot of the times they aren't looked after, as Goodman squares to bunt, pulls it back on a breaking ball, called a ball, 1-0. I think for somebody to sacrifice their body and life for you, for a game, for entertainment, and a lot of teams don't back up their talk and follow through with the health care. Here's the 1-0. Corner infielders playing in with the bunt attempt. Curveball drops in for a strike on the inner half of the plate, 1-1.
Don't pop it up, one. Don't pop it up.
Melhoff is on second after a walk. Messino got hit by a pitch, and he's at first. Still no outs here, top of the fifth inning. Allegro misses high. He wants a new ball. That'll make it 2-1 on Goodman. Goodman, a freshman from Medfield, Massachusetts, went to Medfield High School, so he made the trek all the way across the country to play for the Waves. 15th round draft pick by the Texas Rangers. Here's the 2-1, squares to bunt, and he can't put it down. It looked like Goodman tried to lay down that bunt and missed, but instead they're going to call it a ball. It's now 3-1. Goodman pops this up into foul territory to our right. It'll go out of play. And now he deals with a full count, 3-2. Full count with the drizzle falling here at Joe Etzel Field. Goodman puts one down the third baseline, but foul by a couple of feet. So we'll go back to the 3-2 as Allegro tried to beat him inside. Goodman was ready for it. Full count, no outs, runners on first and second. The payoff pitch inside, ball 4. And the bases are loaded now for Allegro and the Pilots in the 5th inning. As Melhoff moves over to third, Messino up to second, and Goodman over to first. No ball has been put into play yet as Connor Bradshaw comes to the plate. Bradshaw, no at-bat today, as he was hit by a pitch in his first at-bat in the 3rd inning. Was later stranded over at third. First pitch, Bradshaw puts a drive into one that'll go out of play to our right. If that was straightened out, then no doubt that would be a grand slam. He'll take the long strike. It's 0-1. Corner infielders playing in. That's Talia at first and Scavato at third. Their toes on the infield grass. The throw from Allegro. Breaking ball. Looked like a curveball that stayed high above the letters. It'll be 1-1. Big swing and a miss right there from Bradshaw. Now 1-2. Allegro, though, could get a strikeout here. That would be huge for Portland. Get that first out. Even with the bases loaded, you can still get a double play ball and get out of the inning without giving up an out, or a run, excuse me. But first, he has to get Bradshaw at the plate. Grant Shane is no easy out as well. Bradshaw pops this one up. It's actually going to stay on the infield, and they're going to call an infield fly rule. Spencer Scott will make the catch over his shoulder, so one away here. And that'll bring us back to the top of the lineup to Grant Shane, who's 0 for 2 today. Oh, correction. I'm not sure what just happened right there. As Bradshaw is still at the plate. Here's the 2-2. Check swing, appeal down to third. He did not go around, and now it's a full count, 3-2. Some confusion on that last play. I thought they called an infield fly. Scott made the catch, but nobody moved. As this ball's fouled back, it's now 3-2 again. Full count. Bradshaw goes down on strikes. Either way, you still get that key first out for Allegro on the mound, and that'll bring up Grant Shane. Here's another look at that strikeout. Looked like a changeup. Dropped out of the zone on him. Strike one to start off Shane. Strike two. Two quick strikes on Shane into this pressure situation for Allegro on the mound with only one out and the bases loaded. Almost chased that one, but thankfully Klemp keeps that ball in front of him. All runners stay put. And we'll go to the 1-2 now on Shane. off the end of the bat and foul. It's going to end up going off the netting just in front of that bullpen for Portland. So back to the 1-2. The 1-2 with one out. Another strikeout for Allegro. 2 strikeouts now here in the 5th. Another one that just drops out of the zone away from the hitter. Allegro, minus the 2 walks in this inning, has done a good job today. So he now ties his career high with 8 strikeouts. As John Peck comes to the plate, he's 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts on the afternoon. In fact, Allegro, 2 seasons ago in this ballpark, set his career high of 8 against Pepperdine. Can he set a new mark? Can he get his 9th strikeout on the day, set a new career high against the same Pepperdine club, and strand 3 runners on base? Nothing would say strong composure on the mound than Allegro with 3 runners on, no outs, getting out of this inning without a run. Here's the 1-1 to Peck. Sends it down the right field line, but it's going to go past the berm and towards the cars for a long strike. 1-2 again. The 1-2. Squirts away from Klemp, but Allegro quickly to the plate. Make sure no play had to be made. 2-2 now on Peck. Peck is 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. He's actually 1 for 12 in this series with 2 RBI. He's now hitting 197 on the season. Set from the stretch, third base side. The 2-2 to Peck. Strike 3! Allegro! 3 straight strikeouts after loading the bases on 2 walks and a hit. Batter gets out of the jam unscathed. We head to the bottom of the 5th inning with a 0-0 score and another strikeout for Allegro, a career high 9, as Pataxel, Cooney, and Scavato all come to the dish next.
Secure your spot today. A reminder, fans, be alert for balls leaving the field of play at any moment.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. Now pitching for Pepperdine, number 22, Nathan Diamond.
We welcome you back to Joe Etzel Field. Bottom of the 5th inning. There's a new man on the mound as Petaxa lays down a bunt on the third base side. It's played by the pitcher, Nathan Diamond, and he can't make a play. An infield bunt single for Ben Petaxa as he gets his 5th hit in this series. Just about to say the new man on the mound is Nathan Diamond, a left-handed pitcher for the Waves as he makes his 6th appearance on the season. He has an 0-3 record with a 3.46 ERA in 13 innings of work. He's allowed 8 hits, make it 9 now after that Petaxa bunt. 5 earned runs, 13 walks to just 6 strikeouts, so he's had trouble finding his way around the strike zone as Christian Cooney comes to the plate. He'll start out with a ball. It's 1-0. Jack Baird's day is done. He went 4 innings of work on 46 pitches, allowing 3 hits, no earned runs, 1 strikeout. Cooney goes after a fastball. Ran out of bat on that one, though, makes it 1-1. The 1-1 to Cooney. He squares to bunt, pulls it back. This one gets away from Johnson. Petaxa goes back to first, though. He takes the ball as he pulled back the bat. 2-1.
There we go.
Ground ball into left field. Cooney has himself a single. Petaxa moves over to second. And back-to-back hits for the Pilots to open things up in the 5th. Diamond left that one over the heart of the plate. Easy for Cooney to put the barrel on and turn it around into left field as Scavato steps to the plate. Scavato's 1 for 1 with a single. Unfortunately, he was doubled up in the 3rd after Spencer Scott put a line drive into the glove of Melhoff at 3rd. Oriano, the first baseman, playing in front of Cooney. Scavato squares to bunt, pulls it back as that one got inside on him for a ball, 1-0. The 1-0. Scavato squares to bunt again, puts it right back to the pitcher, Diamond, who throws over to third, and no, it's dropped by Melhoff. Hate to say it, but not a well-executed bunt by Scavato, but it ends up with everybody being safe on the fielder's choice. Diamond just threw a dart over to third that Melhoff couldn't handle on the low throw. And Petaxa was sliding in feet first. So now the bases are loaded for the Pilots, and this is a real big chance for them to get the first run of today's game as Spencer Scott steps to the plate. He lined out into a double play back in the 3rd inning. He's 0 for 2 coming into today in this series, but he does have an RBI. That RBI came via the sac fly in his first at-bat in this series in the 2nd inning of Game 1. Scott takes a ball inside. And they just fixed the scoreboard. They're going to mark that one down as an error. Good eye by Scott. Stay ahead in the count now, 3-0, and he has a chance to walk in a run. And what a shakeup that would be as Scott takes strike 1, held on to the bat there, thought that might happen. But what a change of events that would be for Pepperdine as they just had the bases loaded with nobody out. They had a walk, a hit batter, and another walk to load it up. And then Allegro responded with 3 strikeouts to leave the bases loaded. No runs came in to score, and Spencer Scott puts one into left field, and there it is, the grandest yobble of them all. A grand slam for Spencer Scott. The Pilots take a 4-0 lead. As he trots around the bases, steps on home, and he's met by Pataxel, Cooney, and Scavato, a grand slam. I don't think we've seen that since Chad Stevens had one a few seasons ago. And now the Pilots take advantage of a big multi-run home run and jump out to a 4-0 lead off of the grand slam. They got a 3-run home run by Tolia not long ago in yesterday's game. Excuse me, it wasn't Tolia, it was Gomez. And that's what's opened up the scoring for Portland yesterday, and now the long ball opens up the scoring today as Holcroft squared to bunt, fouled it off, takes a strike, 0-1. Now he takes a strike at the bottom of the zone, 0-2. Holcroft is 1 for 2 today, ground out to second in the first, and then a single back in the third where he was left stranded. Here he takes a ball for the first one of this at-bat. It's now 1-2. Slider that was going away from Holcroft just got it off the end of the bat to stay alive at 1-2. Holcroft had an inside the park home run yesterday. And in my 4 years now here calling games for Portland, I have not seen the Pilots have an inside the park home run as Holcroft takes ball 2. Looking around on the Twitter sphere, though, did happen back in the teens of the 2000s as Holcroft works himself to a full count now, 3-2. Well, Peter Allegro certainly has the lead now. High chopper over to first. Oriana takes it on the bag at first, and Holcroft is retired for the first out. 3 unassisted in the scorebook, and that'll bring up Jake Sukata, who is 1 for 2 today with a single, and then he too is also grounded out over to first to Oriana. And Sukata gets hit. Pilots lead the West Coast Conference in hit batters. And they'll just add another one there. Sukata got hit by the pitch, and that'll bring up Zach Talia. Nothing too vicious, just a breaking ball that caught him on the elbow. Certainly could be worse places to get hit by a pitch. And the variety of pitch as Sukata takes a pretty decent lead off the bag at first. That makes Diamond uncomfortable. He throws over. Sukata's back safely. Another throw over to first. First pitch to Tolia. Looked to be off speed for a strike away, about bell tie. Makes it 0-1. Tolia chasing one. Seemed to be right in his wheelhouse, but just missing it. Oh, 0-2 with the runner on first. Sukata took a step back towards first as Tolia takes his first ball here. 1-2 now. Well, this game was originally supposed to start at 1 p.m. It started at noon because we were going to be dealing with some rain coming in around 2 o'clock is when it's supposed to get heavier. Another throw over to first. Sukata's safely back at first. It's drizzling here at Joe Etzel Field, but we got through the first 4.5 innings in an hour. And then the Pilots finally get on the board thanks to Spencer Scott and a grand slam to put the Pilots up 4-0. Talia puts it into left center field. Sukata around second. He's headed towards third. He'll probably be sent home as it bounces off the wall. Loomis sends Sukata home. Talia stops at second, and he has himself an RBI double. Talia got an elevated pitch away, and he was able to get around on it and send it into left center field. Corey and I always talk about that's where you win the games, is in the gaps in left center field and right center field. And in game one, the Pilots took advantage of the right center field gap, and right there, Talia hits it into left center field to add one more run. It's a 5-run 5th inning for Portland as Briley Knight steps to the plate. Knight is 0 for 2. 2 straight at-bats where he got jammed that ended up in slow rollers right in front of the mound. And an easy play. Here's the 1-0. Goodman, the second baseman in shallow right field with the left-handed bat of Knight. Takes a strike, 1-1. Johnson, smart move to get out of his stance right there as that one was put in the right-handed batter's box. That kept Talia over at first. So 2-1 now on Briley Knight. Seven hits in this game for Portland. 4 of them have come in this inning alone. 2 singles, a double, and a home run. The 2-1 tonight, fouled off. Now working with an even count at 2-2. Portland is looking for their first sweep of Pepperdine since 2010. Now, they did that down in Malibu. They're looking for their first sweep here at Joe Etzel Field since 2002. We're talking over 20 years since the Pilots swept the Waves here in Portland as Knight fouls off another one that goes into the dugout of the Waves, 2-2. 2-2. Knight didn't chase, and it's called strike 3. He thought that was a bit high, and he's now 0 for 3 with a backwards K right there, 2 away. And that'll bring up Nick Klemp. Klemp is 0 for 2 today, but came into today's game 4 for 8 in this series with 2 runs and an RBI. That RBI came when he hit into the right center field gap. And here he puts one into right field, but it's right at Grant Shane. And that will end the 5th inning for the Pilots. They strand a runner on second, but not before a grand slam from Spencer Scott opens up the scoring. And they add one more insurance run. It's 5-0 in favor of the Pilots. We'll be right back on the WCC Network.
hitting for Pepperdine. That catcher, number 15, Ryan Johnson.
Welcome back to Joe Etzel Field. A 5-0 lead for the Portland Pilots as Peter Allegro is out for a 6th inning of work, as he has 9 strikeouts, which is a new career high for him in a single outing, as he starts out Ryan Johnson with a strike. Johnson's 0 for 2 today with a strikeout and a ground out to Allegro on the mound. Johnson takes ball 1 right there to even the count at 1-1. Johnson taking ball 2 high and away. That makes it a 2-1 count. Allegro would have to get through this inning to reach his career high in innings pitched in a single outing. Johnson lifts this one down the left field line. It'll go on top of the Pianovi hitting facility, though, for a long strike. It's 2-2. Popped up, foul territory. Klemp will give chase, but it goes behind the stadium out of play. We'll go back to the 2-2 on Johnson. Scott playing up towards the bag at second. Talia off the line at first. Scavato hugging the line over at third. The 2-2 to Johnson. A ball lifted. It's going to go into foul territory most likely. Knight giving chase, and he makes the catch at the foul line. Would have been a bang-bang play as it was close to being in fair territory. It was drifting towards foul, and Briley Knight makes the catch on the run, 1 away to start off this 6th inning. As Lincoln Oriana comes to the plate. He's 0 for 2 today. He too has a strikeout, but his ground out went over to Zach Talia at first. Peter Allegro went to cover the bag, so 3-1 in the scorebook. Oriana inside outs this one, foul to our left. It'll be 0-1 as Allegro jammed him on that last pitch. Spencer Scott, the second baseman, in shallow right field. Not much movement from the outfield from Portland. They're playing a shade deep compared to their normal spots as Allegro puts this one in front of the batter's box for a ball on Oriana. It's 1-1. Another one that's put just on the plate that Klemp is able to keep in front of him. It'll be 2-1 on Oriana. Chopper over to first. Talia gets behind the bag, fields it himself, steps on the bag, and there's 2 away here in the 6th after the 3 unassisted in the scorebook, and that'll bring up Devin Walzakowski. Walzakowski's 1 for 2 today. He tripled in the 2nd on a ball that kept carrying out to the wall that Holcroft made a leaping effort at the wall and couldn't corral it in. Walzakowski ended up getting to third because the ball went off the wall and back into the field of play. Here he fouls it off to our right for a strike, 0-1. Otherwise, his other at-bat, was a strikeout in the 4th of the swinging variety. Walzakowski taking a ball. It's now 1-1. Infield playing back with the 2 outs. Allegro gets strike 2 on Walzakowski. Can he get the double digits? Lucky number 10. sitting at 9 strikeouts after striking out 3 straight to end the 5th after loading the bases up with no outs. Walzakowski stays put in the right-handed batter's box, left the bat on his shoulder. Two. Strikeout number 10 for Peter Allegro. His career high continues to grow. As we head to the bottom of the 6th inning, another look at that strikeout on a career performance. He's gotten quite a few bats out with that same pitch. As we head to the bottom of the 6th inning, Nick Klemp will come to the plate, followed by Pataxel and Cooney when we return on the WCC Network.
Box score? Yeah, I gotta get to the box score.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. Now pitching for Pepperdine, number 19, Bobby Christie.
Welcome back to Joe Edsel Field. A new arm on the mound for the Pepperdine Waves. It's going to be number 19, Bobby Christie, a right-handed pitcher, sophomore from Odessa, Florida. So he, too, another player for the Waves that made the cross-country trip. A fly ball out into right field, an easy catch, a can of corn for Grant Shane, as Pataxel is retired to start off the 6th inning for Portland. Pataxel started off the 5th inning. That got the Pilots up 5-0. So he singled to start that inning as Christian Cooney comes to the plate. Cooney's 1 for 2 today. Ground out to third to Melhoff, and then he singled his last time up. As Christie delivers a strike there. 0-1. Christie went a third of an inning in game 1, throwing 14 pitches. He gave up 2 hits. That's his 3rd hit given up as Cooney puts this one out into left field. Unable to play it cleanly is Messino, but it doesn't hurt the Waves as Cooney will stay at first. What a 1-out single, his 2nd hit of the day. And that'll bring up Evan Scavato. Small lead for Cooney over at first. Scavato lays off the first pitch, low and away for ball. It's 1-0. Melhoff, the third baseman, even with the bag at third. Big secondary for Cooney as Scavato gets his arms out of the way of the inside pitch, makes it a ball. 2-0. Scavato is 1 for 2. Singled in the 3rd. Now he reached in the 5th thanks to an error. It would have been a fielder's choice play anyways as he put out a bunt that went right back to the pitcher. And at the time it was Nathan Diamond who had a bad throw over to 3rd, which allowed Pataxel to slide in safely and really extended the inning and added insult to injury as Spencer Scott hit a grand slam as the next batter up as Scavato works himself with a 3-0 count. Scavato lays off of it, and it's a 4-pitch walk that puts the second Pilot aboard here in this inning. And that'll bring up Spencer Scott, who has the biggest hit in the game so far. A grand slam in the 5th that he hit over the left field wall. That nothing that Messino could do except watch it go. And now he steps to the plate in a consecutive inning. Scott gets off speed for the first pitch. It's a strike on the far side of the plate. Diamond's day is done after 1 inning of work, 31 pitches. He gave up 4 hits, 5 runs. 4 of those were earned and had 1 strikeout. Now, a lot different than yesterday's game, as the Pilot struck out 11 times as Scott takes a strike right there and falls behind 0-2. Today, it's only 2 so far here in the 6th inning. The 0-2, check swing from Scott. No appeal down to first. It's going to be called a ball. And 1-2 is the count. The 1-2. Scott thought about it again. Check swing. It goes off the chest protector of Johnson in front of the plate. So 2-2 now. Pilots being patient at the plate after goose eggs through the first 4 innings on both sides. Pepperdine did not get their first hit until the 7th inning yesterday, and then poured in 4 runs in the 9th inning to make it a much closer game than what it was. It was 8-2 heading into the final frame as Scott goes down with a strikeout looking for the second out of the inning. But it was 8-2 in the 9th, and then a 4 spot by the Waves after they got 4 straight singles and help of a walk as well. That ended up getting it to 8-6, but Dobmeyer closed the door, got the save. Holcroft, chopper towards second, taken by Goodman. The underhand flip to second will get Scavato out, and that will end the inning. No runs come in to score. 1 left stranded for the Pilots. It remains 5-0 as we head to the 7th inning. It's Melhoff, Messino, and Goodman all due up for the Waves when we return.
Pilots in the 6th inning, no runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 2 left on base. Third baseman, number 45, Greg Melhoff.
Come on, Peter! Pretty strong, kid. Let's go, Eater.
Greg Melhoff leads off the 7th inning for the Pepperdine Waves as Peter Allegro is back for another inning of work. He's gotten through 6, delivers a first pitch slider to Melhoff, first strike, 0-1. Melhoff today is 0 for 1 with a ground out to first. Ground ball hit over to second. Spencer Scott in shallow right field will take it and throw it over to first in time as Talia takes the throw, and there's 1 away here in the 7th.
Left fielder, number 32, Charles Messino.
Charles Messino comes to the plate now. He's 0 for 1. struck out in the second inning, and then he was hit by a pitch in the fifth where he was left stranded at second after Allegro, loading the bases, striked out the next three batters to strand all three on base and not give up a single run. First pitch here to Messino is a ball, 1-0. Messino in the series is just 2 for 10 with an RBI. Here's the 1-0. Missing low and inside near the shins, makes it a 2-0 count. Allegro right now, 6 innings of work, 1 hit, 2 walks, 10 strikeouts. Strike there to Messino. That lone hit was a ball that actually, you could say, was probably playable. It was a difficult one, I'll give you that. It was at the 369 marker in left center field. That looked like Holcroft was right there, but just missed it on no fault of his own, by the way. But went off the middle pole on that fence and went back into the field of play, and that allowed Waldzakowski to get to third. That is the lone hit right now for Pepperdine as Messino takes ball 3 to make it a full count now, 3-2. Ground ball up the middle, and the second hit given up by Peter Allegro as Messino gets his first hit today and his third hit in this series. And that'll bring up Jack Goodman.
Second baseman, number 1, Jack Goodman.
Squaring to bunt. Klemp wanted to peel down to first, and he went around, so that's a strike on Goodman. 0-1. Just missing there. That'll even the count at 1-1. No defensive changes for the Pilots so far today. It's still Knight, Holcroft, and Cooney as your outfielders left to right. Scavato, Pataxel, Scott, and Talia. Your infield from left to right, and Klemp still behind the plate. The 1-1 to Goodman. Ropes one into left field, and that one's going to drop. It's going to go towards the corner, played by Knight. Rounding second, going into third, it's going to be Messino, and that's where he's held up. And a one-out double by Jack Goodman. Goodman picks up his 9th hit on the season. And now there's 2 Waves in scoring position as Connor Bradshaw comes to the plate now. Bradshaw's 0 for 1. He got hit by a pitch in the 3rd inning, and then he was the first strikeout of 3 in a row in the 5th. That gave Allegro, at the time, was a new career high in 9 strikeouts. He currently sits at 10 as pitching coach Connor Lambert goes out to the mound. There is an arm in the bullpen for Portland. This might be it for Allegro, and it is. They make the motion to get a new arm out of the pen. Allegro's day is done, but a career performance for him. 10 strikeouts, and he leaves with a 5-0 lead and 2 runners aboard. We'll be right back with a new arm and stats on the WCC Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please. Now pitching for the Pilots, number 27, Caden Siegel.
Okay!
the center fielder, number 21, Connor Bradshaw.
Let's go, Keaton!
Caden Siegel now on the mound for the Portland Pilots, as he inherits a runner on second with one out. Siegel replaces Peter Allegro. First pitch is a strike delivered to Connor Bradshaw. Allegro got through 6 1/3 on 115 pitches, only allowing 3 hits, 10 strikeouts, 2 walks. Now, the runner on first, or excuse me, the runner on second and third are represented by Allegro as Siegel gets another strike. It's now 1-2. Goodman's on third, Messino is on second. So we'll give you the rest of that stat line as this inning concludes. Siegel missing away, evens the count at 2-2. Siegel is a sophomore from Portland, Oregon. Went to Grant High School, but he transferred in from Lynn Benton Community College. He's thrown 11 2/3 innings of work so far as this ball hit out into left field. Briley Knight drops back. Now he comes in, makes the catch, comes up throwing towards home, goes above the cutoff man. Clem takes it in at home, but it's a sacrifice fly that scores Jack Goodman, or no, excuse me, Charles Messino. And so the first run is across for the Waves. It's now 5-1 after the sacrifice fly. And we go back to the top of the lineup to Grant Shane, who's 0 for 3 today. Came into today 4 for 7 in the series with 2 walks, 2 runs, and an RBI. As Siegel now deals with the man on second in Goodman. Strike delivered to Shane. Spencer Scott, the second baseman, in shallow right field with the pole hitter up. Pataxel almost behind the bag at second. The 0-1. Shane lays off of it to keep the count at an even 1-1. Big swing and a miss right there, induced by Siegel. Makes it a 1-2 count now. Pilots would love to get out of this inning, only giving up the 1 run, as there's now 2 away. Ground ball just past Siegel. Pataxo plays on the right side of second base. He tried to spin and throw, and instead ends up as an error, and scoring from second is Goodman. Now, they might mark that one down as a hit. It was an awfully long run for Pataxo to make, as he had to go on the right side of second base from his shortstop position. And then tried to make a spinning throw over to first. And they will mark that one down as a hit, as they should. I don't think it'll be an RBI, though, as John Peck comes to the plate. Peck is 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts as he deals with a first pitch curveball on the far side of the plate. Falls behind 0-1. Peck laying off the low pitch there. Makes the count 1-1 as Siegel keeping an eye on the runner over at first, peeking over his shoulder.
I thought there's 2. The fielder's choice.
Peck taking strike 2 right there. He tried to get out of the way. He thought it might have been a ball. And now he's on the verge of a golden sombrero of 4 strikeouts in a single game. Peck lines one into right field. Cooney will take it and comes up throwing. And it's a single for Peck as he gets his first hit. And now there's some late inning heroics right now for the Waves, much like we saw yesterday where they didn't get their first hit until the 7th inning. Here we are in the 7th, and the bats are starting to come alive again for the Waves as Ryan Johnson, the catcher, comes to the plate. He's 0 for 3. Shane is on second. Peck is on first. Johnson struck out, ground out, and a fly out. Popped up behind home plate. Strike. And now it's 0-2 on Johnson, who's 2 for 7 coming into today in this series with 2 RBI. He's now 2 for 10, including his at-bats in this one. Looks like somebody's getting loose in the bullpen for Portland, but not throwing at the moment. There are 2 outs, as a reminder, here in the 7th inning. Here's the 0-2. Siegel wanted a chase, but Johnson showing discipline at the plate. Takes the first ball. It's 1-2. Johnson got enough of it to stay alive. Infield playing back for Portland. Trying to keep the ball in front of them. Holcroft in center field. He's nearing the warning track. Now he takes a couple of steps in. As Johnson has some juice. 7 home runs on the season. Here's the 1-2. Ground ball down the third baseline. And Danny Worth, the third base coach for the Waves, able to take that one in at the third base coach's box. Johnson smokes one that almost took Worth's head off over there in the third base coach's box. We'll go back to the 1-2 on Johnson. Johnson fighting off another pitch. Tough at bat right here. Siegel taking a long time to get the signal from Klemp behind the plate. Now he gets set from the stretch. First base side, comes home with it. Johnson swings and misses. And Klemp applies the tag and a strikeout. That ends the damage done by the Waves here in the 7th as they strand 2, but 2 runs come in to score, and they've made it a ball game. It's 5-2 as we head to the bottom of the 7th inning. Stand up and stretch. For the 7th inning stretch, it'll be Sukata, Talia, and Knight coming to the plate when we return.
All right, fans, it's time to get up on your feet for our 7th inning stretch.
First pitch to Jake Sukata here in the bottom of the 7th inning goes for a ball as Bobby Christie out for another inning of work. This is his 2nd inning. Gave up 1 hit, had 1 walk and 1 strike as the umpire right here got clipped by that pitch. And usually you see the catcher go out to the pitcher on the mound to give the home plate umpire a moment to himself. Coach Loomis came out of his coaching box. Chris Jackson right now, the trainer for the Portland Pilots, is out on the field as the home plate umpire seemed to be grabbing his wrist as it was an inside pitch to the left-handed batter, Sukata. Seems to be okay, puts his mask back on, and we're ready to resume play with a 1-0 count. Strike call on Sukata makes it 1-1. Ground ball hit over to the right side. Goodman ranges to his left, and the throw off the mark away from Oriana, and it goes off of the dugout fence, and Sukata will reach via the error. First one for the Waves today. Actually, second one by the Waves today, excuse me. Just an inside pitch that he turned on, and Goodman tried to move too quickly, and he threw across his body, which sounds kind of weird with where he was, but let that one go late, and it went around Oriana to the dugout, so Zach Talia steps to the plate as he looks to pick up another hit. He's 1 for 3 today with an RBI double. Off the bat, fouled off, and now behind 0-2 in the count. The 0-2. Ground ball hit over to the left side, past the diving John Peck into left field. Sukata around second, he's heading towards third. And the throw from Messino takes Melhoff off the bag, and Talia gets his 2nd hit of the day. And there's runners on the corners for Portland as they look to get back those runs they gave up in the top of the 7th inning. Briley Knight coming to the plate. He is 0 for 3 today, 2 for 11 in this series. And normally a surefire bat on the left side for Portland as he's been batting cleanup during this entire homestand. Now we'll have a moment to think about what he needs to do to go against Bobby Christie, who's running into some hot water right now as he's got runners on the corners, no outs. And he's on the verge of at least giving up 1 run after his team got 2 runs in the top of the 7th. Portland trying to get the sweep against Pepperdine at home for the first time since 2002. We're talking 21 years. You could say 20 since there was no conference play with the COVID year in 2020. That's Knight. Looked to be a curveball right there. Takes it for a ball, 1-0. Knight lines one over to short, and it's gloved by Peck. High throw, and they double up the Pilots. Talia thrown out at first, and a very similar play to what we saw with Spencer Scott back in the 3rd inning. It's a line out to short. This time it's taken in by Peck, and he doubles up to Leah at first. There's 2 away, now with a runner at third. And Christie, who was just in some hot water, now finds himself in a favorable position with only having to get 1 out here with the runner over at third. Klemp is at the plate. He's 0 for 3 today after a 4-hit performance yesterday. He's 4 for 8 in this series before today, but including today, he's 4 for 11 with 2 runs and an RBI. That RBI, though, was a big one that tied the game up in game 1 as he takes ball 2 away in the left-handed batter's box. He's ground out today to short, flew out to left field, and then he flew out to right field his last time up to Grand Shane. The 2-0. Breaking ball ends up in the left-handed batter's box again. It'll be 3-0. And that's a 4-pitch walk issued to Klemp. That sends up Ben Pataxel, who's 1 for 3 today with a single in the 5th where he came around to score on the grand slam from Spencer Scott. Otherwise, he's ground out to third to Melhoff, and then he flew out to right field, and I think we're going to have a pitching change for the Waves. As looks like Cam Rowland out on the mound to talk to his pitcher right now. But without the infield being drawn in, I don't know if he's going to take Christie off the mound. I think he just wants to talk things over with his pitcher, and nope, he signals over to his bullpen, and Christie's day is done. And we'll take a quick break here at Joe Etzel Field on the WCC Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. Now pitching for Pepperdine, number 12, Nick Bond.
We welcome you back to Joe Etzel Field. Nick Bond, the right-handed freshman pitcher from Laguna Beach, California, is now on the mound. His first appearance in this series as he makes his 7th appearance on the season with a 5.62 ERA. He's thrown 8 innings of work this year, giving up 12 hits, 5 earned runs. Now he has struggled finding the strike zone, 9 walks to just 2 strikeouts as this ball gets away from Ryan Johnson, and that allows Nick Klemp to move up 90 feet to second. Pataxel swings and fouls off the next pitch and makes it a 1-1 count. At the moment, Bobby Christie's line is 1 2/3 innings on 25 pitches, giving up 2 hits, 1 strikeout and 2 walks, but he is responsible for the 2 runners on base currently. So it depends on what Pataxel does here at the plate as he fouls off another pitch to our right out of play. We go back to the 1-2. Right back to the pitcher. Bond fields it himself, flips it over to first, and he handles his business on the mound. A comebacker from Pataxel, strands 2 on the bases. No runs come in to score. In the 7th inning for the Pilots, they lead 5-2 as we head to the 8th inning. It's the 4-hole hitter Lincoln Oriana, Devin Walzakowski, and Greg Melhoff come to the plate for the Waves when we return.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. Now pitching for Portland, number 37, Nick Brink. Leading up the top of the 8th inning for the Waves, the first baseman, number 55, Lincoln Oriana.
Lincoln Oriana steps to the plate to start this 8th inning. Nick Brink is on the mound for the Portland Pilots, wearing number 37, the redshirt sophomore from Portland, Oregon. Went to Cleveland High School. The first pitch is fouled off by Oriana for a strike. That'll make it 0-1. Allegro went into the 7th inning, got 1 out, so his final stat line, 6 1/3 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 10 strikeouts, and 2 walks. Caden Siegel came in relief as Brink misses low and away there to even the count at 1-1. But Brink went 2/3 of an inning, giving up 2 hits, had 1 strikeout, and faced 4 batters. And that's all that he will need on the mound today as Nick Brink now takes over. Brink missing on that slider. Brink has thrown 10 2/3 innings so far this year. He's given up 9 hits, 1 earned run, has a 1-0 record and a 0.84 ERA. He's one of the few Pilots that missed some time last year dealing with an elbow injury, but now he's back ready full strength as he's fallen behind 3-1 to Oriana. Strike, and that'll make it a full count. Oriana today is 0 for 3. He has a strikeout, a ground out over to first. Actually, make that 2 ground outs over to first. 1 was unassisted. And instead, Oriana's going to get himself on with a walk to start off this 8th inning. And now we are going to have a pinch hitter for Devin Walzakowski. It's going to be Quint Landis, who started the last 2 games in this series. Once in left field, and the other time was behind the plate, and that was in game 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please. Now batting for Pepperdine, number 11, Quint Landis.
Landis is 1 for 7 in this series with 2 walks. As he takes ball 1 from Brink high and away, that'll make it a 1-0 count. Brink missing the zone again, makes it 2-0. Not as crisp as he would like. In fact, that walk that he issued to Oriana is just his 3rd walk he's given up this season, as Spencer Scott, the sophomore infielder, now going to call time to talk things over with his pitcher. Just let him know that he's got the defense behind him, everything's okay. .3-0 now from Brink. He's on the verge of walking his 2nd straight batter. Make things a bit tense for Portland here in the late innings. Here he delivers a strike to Landis to make it 3-1. Still quite a few fans here at the ballpark, despite the weather taking a turn for the worse today, as Landis gets himself on via the walk, and back-to-back walks for the Waves, puts runners on 1st and 2nd, and Greg Melhoff to the plate. Melhoff is 0 for 2 with a walk today. In the series, he's 1 for 11 with a walk. And now Coach Lambert is going to go out to the mound, and I think Brink's day is going to be done because he's issued 2 walks to 2 batters that he's faced. And that is it. We're going to take a quick break on the WCC Network. We'll be right back with the new arm for Portland in a 5-2 game that the Pilots lead in the top of the 8th.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please. Now pitching for the Pilots, number 10, Jacob Topmeyer.
Welcome back to Joe Etzel Field as Jacob Dobmeyer now takes the mound. Dobmeyer already with 2 saves in this series, and now he's in to close the door here in the top of the 8th inning. Bunt down the third baseline, taken by Scavato and thrown over to first to get the out. It's Scott who was covering the bag. Both runners move up to their new respective bags as Oriana moves over to third. Over to second is Quint Landis after the sacrifice bunt. So with 1 up, that'll bring up Charles Messino, who is 1 for 2 today. A strikeout in the second. He got hit by a pitch in the third where he was left stranded. And then in the 7th inning, he singled and came around to score thanks to a sacrifice fly by Connor Bradshaw. Dobmeyer, first pitch, called a strike on Messino, makes it 0-1. Line drive foul over the head of the third base coach, Danny Worth. And 0-2 now on Messino. Dobmeyer from Toledo, Oregon, transferred from UC San Diego. Just a redshirt sophomore this season. Ground ball down the third baseline and foul again. Oriana will stay put. So back to the 0-2. This is the 8th appearance for Dobmeyer this season. He's given up 10 hits and 11 2/3 innings of work, 9 strikeouts, 4 walks, only 1 earned run. He has a 0.77 ERA. And a strikeout right there on Messino, gloved by Klemp, and now there's 2 away with runners on second and third, and that'll bring up Jack Goodman. Dobmeyer, he's been so good on the mound in this series. Looks like he got him on a changeup and a chase. And so that brings up the freshman from Medfield, Massachusetts. His 1 hit today is a double. He came around to score. Big swing and a miss right there after the release from Dobmeyer, 0-1. Goodman flew out in the 3rd inning, walked in the 5th where he was left stranded at first. And then he had that double in the 7th. The 1-1. Another swing and a miss induced by Dobmeyer, and now he's 1 strike away from getting out of this inning without giving up a run. Now Dobmeyer would not be responsible for the run. It would be Nick Brink as he walked the first 2 batters of this inning. The 1-2. Ground ball over to third, backhanded by Scavato, slipped while trying to get to his feet. The throw, and they got him over at first in time. Dobmeyer gets out of the inning. No runs come in to score. The throw by Scavato beats the runner by a hair, and they strand 2. No runs come in to score. We head to the bottom of the 8th inning, and coming to the plate for the Pilots, Christian Cooney, the man who just made the play, Evan Scavato, and Spencer Scott when we return. Christian Cooney leads off the bottom of the 8th inning as Zach Chonkich makes his first appearance on the mound for the Pepperdine Waves. No stats for him this season. Chonkich, a junior from Redlands, California, stands at 5'11". First couple pitches go for a 1-1 count on Cooney. Close there. Cooney's already dealt with being hit by a pitch multiple times this season, already had to leave a game one time because of it. And another one. It'll make it a 3-1 count on Cooney. Strike 2 called on Cooney. He thought it was ball 4, and now he's dealing with a full count. Inside again on Cooney, but this time it's for a walk. So the leadoff man is aboard for Portland as Evan Scavato comes to the plate for the 3rd time today. Only 2 official at-bats, though. He's 1 for 2 with a walk. He singled in the 3rd, and then he reached on a fielder's choice in the 5th. The 1-0. Scavato taking a strike to even the count at 1-1. It's Chonkich again. Only his first outing for the Waves this season. Runner's going for second, and Cooney's got himself in a pickle now. Oriana running towards him. Cooney's just going to slide in head first towards second. And the tag is applied by Goodman. So Cooney, a bad break right there. Gets caught in a pickle, and he's out as Scavato deals with a 2-1 count. Chonkich, a two-way player. In fact, through his first 2 seasons, played in 30 games, making 17 starts as Scavato pops this one up on the infield. Peck calling everybody off. He'll make the catch, and now there's 2 away for Portland in the 8th. Spencer Scott, the big hit in this one that has really separated these 2 teams, as he is 1 for 3, but that one hit was a grand slam in the 5th inning that scored Pataxel, Cooney, and Scavato. Pilots did add an extra run in that inning. Here Scott gets it off the end of the bat and dribbles it behind home plate. 0-2. But Sukata scored in that 5th inning as well, and then that's how the Pilots got to their 5 runs. They gave up 2 runs in the top of the 7th to Pepperdine. Chonkich missing high on a fastball above the letters on Scott. 1-2. This could be the final inning of work for the Pilots at the plate. With Dobmeyer on the mound, it's Scott puts a drive into one into left field, but not having to move too much is Massino as he took 2 steps to his left and 1 back on the line out And the Pilots will go down in order thanks to Cooney being caught in a rundown. Scavato pops up, and Scott lines out into left field. We head to the 9th inning. Coming to the plate, it's Bradshaw, and then the top of the lineup for the Waves in Shane and Peck on the WCC Network.
Leading off the 9th inning for the Waves, center fielder number 21, Connor Bradshaw.
Connor Bradshaw steps into the batter's box and lead things off for the Waves in the top of the 9th inning as they're down to their final 3 outs. They're close to being swept. Bradshaw puts this ball into shallow left field. Briley Knight calls off the shortstop in Pataxel and makes the catch in shallow left field. And the first out retired here in the 9th. So now coming to the plate, it's Grant Shane. Shane is 1 for 4 today. Fly out, ground out, and a strikeout. He did single back in the 7th, but was left stranded at second base. And here he hits a single into right center field. It's going to be backhanded. But it looked to be Henry Mensch that's now out in right field. And Shane has himself a double with 1 out as he slides in heads first. And that is the defensive change as Henry Mensch is now in right field. As John Peck now comes to the plate. Peck is 1 for 4 this afternoon. 3 strikeouts and a single. He's 2 for 14 in this series with 2 RBI. He can add another one here with a base hit that'll possibly score Shane. He fouls it off to our right across the street, and he'll start out 0-1. Don Myers looking for his 5th save. It would be his 3rd save of this series alone. Slightly open stance for Peck. Check swing. They peel down. He went around 0-2. Shane's got a decent lead off the bag at second as Pataxel in the way. Breaking ball just out of the zone. That'll make it 1-2. So they've made some changes. Scavato's now out of the game. They moved Spencer Scott over to third. They bring in Ty Saunders to play short and moved Pataxel over to second. And Peck goes down with a strikeout. His 4th one on the day. And he'll have a lot to think about on his way home back to Malibu after this weekend. A tough one for him. Six strikeouts this weekend, only 2 hits. As he is now 2 for 15 in this series as Ryan Johnson steps to the plate. He's 0 for 4 today. represents the Waves' final out. Holcroft is near the warning track. This could be trouble. And it's just allowed out to clinch it all. And a series sweep for the Portland Pilots as Holcroft makes the catch in center field. It's a 5-2 victory over the Waves, and the Pilots get their first sweep of Pepperdine at home since 2002. And it all comes off the bat of Spencer Scott as he gets a home run. It's his first one of his career, and it was a grand slam over the left field wall. And the Pilots added on one more run, and that's all the scoring they needed. It was a 5 spot in the 5th as they win this one 5-2 and take the series from the Pepperdine Waves. Pilots are back in action as they take on Oregon State on Tuesday at 5:35 p.m. The next time the Pilots are home is April 6th. They go on the road to take on Pacific and St. Mary's before they come back home. I'd like to thank the production crew back in the studio. Couldn't have done it without you guys. I'm Brian Slyke. Thank you for tuning in over this weekend. It was a series sweep as the Pilots start conference play 3-0. Until next time, I'm Brian Slyke. Thank you for tuning in.